20.2 Habitat Destruction. Go back to the objectives after you're done studying to make sure that you covered the lesson properly. Biodiversity, as we agreed before, this is the number of species in a specific area. So this means that when we have biodiversity, we have a big community of different populations together. But when we have low biodiversity, this means that we have less populations and we have a small community. So some habitats have high biodiversity, like the tropical forests. They have the highest biodiversity. They have different types of populations living together in harmony. But what about the lower biodiversity habitats? Examples are Arctic and Antarctic. But all habitats are important because the destruction of any habitat can cause altering in the food web, food chains, and this will definitely cause a negative impact on the whole ecosystem because this will involve the decrease in the number of a certain population, and as we discussed before, any decrease can cause increase in other populations that might destroy a full habitat, especially if it was a key species. So this can also lead to extinction of some species, and as we agreed before, extinction is not a good thing because when we have an extinct population, this will affect the whole food web and will affect the whole ecosystem. What's extinction? It is the complete loss of species from Earth. Okay, what are the different things that cause habitat destruction? How does it happen? So first, when we cut vegetation for building or making factories or making roads or even farming or for livestocking, when we cut vegetation, we destroy the habitat for many animals or many populations. Also, when we add pollutants to the land and water, this kills plants and animals in this land or water. Mining for natural resources. Mining is when we dig to bring out something that we need, like ores, like gold, or for oil and natural gas, or for coal. So this is what we call mining. When we mine, we destroy the habitat. Why? Because we remove the soil, remove the vegetation, and some of these materials that we're getting out can be toxic and they can run off into the rivers and even can be absorbed by the land. So this is very, very dangerous. Also, removing a key species. What's a key species? This is a species that when you remove from the food chain or the food web, it will alter the whole food chain and food web. Yes, any species when removed can cause a damage, but the key species causes the most damage. It alters the whole thing, not only the species that are in direct contact with it. Like what? Like when we remove the coral reefs. These are the photosynthetic populations in the ocean's ecosystem. So when we remove them, this will cause altering in the whole food chain because no animal will get enough food without the photosynthesis. Oil spills. Some containers carrying oil can spill accidentally, and this can poison a lot of marine animals. Even those who can fly, sometimes they get soaked in oil, which will prevent them from flying, and this will kill them eventually. Warming of the ocean can result in climate changes and, of course, greenhouse effects, and can damage also the coral reefs. Deforestation, and this is one of the major problems in habitat destruction. As we agreed before, rainforests have the most biodiversity. So when we destroy forests by deforestation, which is the permanent destruction of large areas of forests and woodland habitats, this will affect the home of all of those animals. So again, rainforests, they are very special. It is a very special place that is full of different species. It has high biodiversity. Loss of rainforest will lead to the destruction of many habitats, releasing large amount of carbon dioxide and also soil erosion. Why? Why releasing high amount of carbon dioxide? Because as we know, forests are made of vegetation, and vegetation, these are the producers. So they take in carbon dioxide and they release oxygen. So when we destroy our source of recycling carbon in the air, this will cause that our air will be full of carbon dioxide, and this will increase the carbon dioxide concentration and accordingly will decrease the oxygen concentration. Soil erosion. Actually, plants need soil and also soil needs plants because the upper area of the soil, the fertile part of the soil, is stable in its place due to the presence of plants. When we remove plants, this upper layer or this uppermost layer of the soil that contains all the mineral ions starts to get washed out by the rain, and this will cause that the soil we have has only the lower layers that do not have enough ions, and accordingly we will get less fertile soil. Okay, let's look deeper into the effects of deforestation. First, destruction of tropical rainforests will reduce biodiversity, of course, because we destroyed the habitats or the home of those animals, and accordingly some of them might go extinct, and this will increase the rate of extinction of some species. Also, they are major cause of us having oxygen. So forests act as a major carbon dioxide store. They take in carbon dioxide and clear our air. So the rapid increase in carbon dioxide will increase the greenhouse effect because, as we agreed, carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas. It accumulates in the atmosphere and traps heat inside. So without photosynthesis, without enough rainforests on the planet, we will not have enough concentration of oxygen and we will have high concentration of carbon dioxide and increase in the greenhouse effect. Also, this will affect the natural water cycle. Why? Because when we remove trees, transpiration decreases. And what's transpiration? It's when the plant releases the water vapor from its stomata. But before the water goes to the stomata, where was it? It was absorbed by the soil and the roots of the plants. So if I don't have enough plants to absorb this water, it will go into the rivers and the seas and it will cause flooding. Soil erosion, as we agreed before, the presence of plants anchor the fertile layer of soil in its place. So without plants, this layer of soil will be washed away and we will be left with the less fertile layer of soil. And the common thing that we all know, the decrease in the concentration of oxygen because of the decrease of photosynthesis. So, reasons of deforestation, as we all know, all of those bad effects. Why do we do this to ourselves? That's because we need to use this land to grow more crops, monoculturing, for our food production, or to build buildings and cities. Also, we need the wood for paper, furniture, and buildings. I know these are important causes and these are important needs for the human beings, but we can also use the empty deserts and we can cultivate a lot of trees and use them for those purposes instead of destroying rainforests and destroying the habitats and have all those side effects that can destroy the whole planet. Okay, let's answer some questions together. What are the possible effects of deforestation? So, how do we solve such questions? Yes, we go here, see the choices and see what we will choose for each one. Loss of soil, that's true. Erosion, flooding, that's true because of the decrease in transpiration. Decrease in atmospheric carbon dioxide, no, we will increase the carbon dioxide. So the answer is A. Which feature of deforestation has the greatest effect on the atmosphere? So, reduction of photosynthesis. But actually deforestation causes extinction. Why didn't I use it? And it causes flooding. And it causes soil erosion. These are all side effects of deforestation. Please read the question carefully here. The question is asking about the effect on the atmosphere. Please make sure you read all the elements of the question. Okay, figure 4.1. Again, don't forget to make sure that you're looking at the right figure because the question might have more than one figure. Of an area where trees have been cut down. State the name of this type of habitat destruction. This is deforestation. List 3 undesirable effects on the habitat destruction. Of course, you already know them all, or any of them: extinction, loss of soil, flooding. Any valid point will be accepted. State 3 human activities other than cutting down large areas of trees that can cause the habitat destruction. You can mention any other way that we destroy habitats from the colored table that we already discussed, like monoculturing, livestocking, mining, all pollution. Any valid point also will be accepted. Thank you, and I hope this video helps you study.